Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Mrs. Danielle DeVita. I am a relationship and femininity coach. I've been married for 13 years, and my goal is to help both men and women be in relationships that's best for them. So today I'm going to talk to men how to decode 4 things women typically say. So you hear these things quite often and you're trying to figure out what is wrong with this woman and why are women not just explaining how they feel. I often talk about the situation, how women should be able to explicitly say what it is that's on their mind and leave out the guesswork. But a lot of times we as women want men to be able to, especially if it's our man, to be able to be intuitive, know us enough to know how we feel and what we think, and then how to proceed in that particular area. So I am going to talk about these things. Of course, every woman doesn't do these things, especially if they are big on self-improvement and trying to grow at proper communication and how to make sure that they say how they feel without leaving all of the unnecessary guesswork. So this is typically what women would say, and these are ways of how you can combat that and a proper way to proceed in that. In all situations, I tell men that there is a crossroad, just like women. So if you are met with this often, or if you've already been met with this, or you met with this the first time and you don't like it, you do need to have a conversation about how you want communication going forward. So you let them know, I don't want the guesswork and all of these things. So let's get started with these 4 things. The first thing is when women say, I'm fine, when you can clearly see she's not fine. So maybe you guys were just going about your day and then all of a sudden she has like this kind of attitude and you're like, are you okay? Or what's wrong? Or are you upset? And she goes, I'm good. I'm fine. But literally how she's saying it is telling another story. So sometimes women want men to be able to know what's wrong with them and why they're upset and then be able to go straight there. But a lot of times, depending on the woman, there could be so many things and you're not sure what it is that ticked her off, especially if this woman is immature or moody or things like that. So sometimes it's hard to even really tell. But typically if she's not like extra moody or always in her feelings and you notice that, something is wrong with her, but she won't let me in. The best way to handle that is, well, I can clearly see that you're not happy about something. And I want to make sure we rectify this situation. Whenever you feel free, can we talk about it? This is a way to not pressure her to open up immediately, but it also lets her know that you see her. You see that something's not right. And then solution-based. You want to find a solution to fix it, but you are going to let her do it on her time when she feels comfortable. A woman who's more mature, but because some women say I'm fine because they don't want to even get into it. They don't want to have an argument. But if it happens to be this case, and typically she's mature, she would be like, you know what, I will talk about it now. Or yeah, I'll talk about it later. I don't want to talk about it right now. So I encourage, if you're a woman who's listening, to make sure that in order to conserve peace, to create peace if there wasn't peace initially, to have these conversations, you up front can start saying, you know what, I'm not happy in this situation right now. However, I do want to talk about it, but at a later time. We can talk about it after dinner, because sometimes you don't want to spoil the rest of the day. But if a man is asking, let's have a conversation, don't push away from that, because there's a lot of men who do not like to communicate. So be glad when you have someone who genuinely wants to communicate with you and make you happy. So again, for men, if you want to decode this, if she says I'm fine and she's not, or something is wrong, don't just be like, okay, and then move on. Because now she's going to be more upset that you ignored the obvious signs that she's not okay and move about your life. She wants you to know that she's upset. So the best way to do that is to say, I can see that you're not happy right now. I'd like to talk about it when you're free, because my intent is to make sure that you remain happy. I want to do that for you. And then after you guys talk, when you guys do talk about it, say, you know what, but in the future, I want to have a healthy communication. And whenever something's going on with you, I want both of us, because you don't want to just put it on her. I want both of us to be mature enough to say what we need to say. And please tell me if I'm not allowing a space for you to be vulnerable and open up. Let me know, because it also, it opens up the door of why maybe she couldn't tell you, and vice versa. All right. Number 2, the other thing to decode is when a woman says, "Can we talk?" A lot of times we watch movies and it's scary to think like, okay, so what does she want to do? She want to break up, this and that. Sometimes women say, "Can we talk?" And it's just a serious conversation, but it's not necessarily you guys are going to break up or there's a problem. That's a good thing when a woman wants to communicate, because if you watch my last video, when a woman stops communicating, then that's a bad sign. When a woman asks, "Can we talk?" How to decode that is basically she's saying, I want to talk about something serious, but I want you to brace yourself, because it's going to be maybe a heavy topic. It's going to be not necessarily something bad, but something that requires us to have a deeper conversation. And she's just giving you a forewarning that this is not some shallow conversation. You're going to have a deep conversation. Maybe it could be about marriage or what your future is like, and something that is going to require a deep conversation. And all she is doing is giving you a forewarning. That's all. She's just letting you know so you'll be prepared for it. So it doesn't always mean something negative. Just understand that. Can we talk means, can we have a real, genuine, and mature and deep conversation? And it may be about your relationship, how to move to the next step, or where you guys are trying to be in the next step. Just know that. The third thing that women say that you want to decode is, do I look fat? And if she does look fat, you don't say, yes, you look fat. A woman wants to hear 2 things. And you guys may not believe it, but she wants to hear these 2 things. She wants to hear the truth. But she wants to hear the truth in a way that doesn't make her feel already bad about herself than what she probably already thought before she asked you. Because sometimes people say, you can look in the mirror, you can see, but I promise you, when I look in the mirror, it's not always the same as when someone took a picture. It's not always the same as what other people see. So it's because people often say, if you watch weight loss videos, oh, I didn't even realize I was gaining weight until I looked on the scale. And you may think, don't you see yourself in the mirror every day? So it's not always that simple, because if you see yourself every day, small little things could have changed, and it's hard to notice in someone who is not staring at you as detailed, as you are with yourself. So going back to how to decode the "do I look fat?" Basically, she is saying, do I really look good, or do I need to wear something else? That's essentially what she's saying. And I feel that the best way to say that is, and of course, if she doesn't look fat, you would just say, no, you don't. But if the truth is that she may not look flattering in it, then you can say, I know that there's another outfit that is more flattering for you. I've seen you, where, what about this blue dress? It brings out your eyes, or, this dress doesn't do you any justice. Something along the saying, pretty much, this dress is not it, but I know that there's something that can fit your beautiful figure, or things like that. So, because obviously if you're with her, you may still find her attractive. Now, if you don't, that's a video for a whole nother story about if a woman's letting herself go, how to approach that. But just to say, if she asks, do I look fat? Basically, she is looking for the truth, but in a way that's not going to hurt her feelings. If you're a man listening, think about if your daughter asks you this question. Are you just going to tell your daughter, yeah, you look fat and ugly or whatever? You're not going to do that. You're going to find a way to gently let your daughter down. All right. And if you've read my book, Command Respect from the Woman You Want, I mentioned an area in my book where how a father was speaking to his daughter when she was wearing something. The daughter came downstairs and she was wearing something a little slutty or trashy or something like that. And she was a teenage daughter. And instead of the father saying, you look like a 304 or whatever, which is HO, he basically said, I see you as this X, Y, and Z kind of woman, but this outfit is not a representation of that. And then he brought her to the mirror and he said, when you look at yourself in this outfit, what do you see? And what do you think that the boy you're going out on a date with, what will he see when he see you in this outfit? And then when she answered it, she said, does this align with what you really want him to see? And then she was like, oh no, I never thought about it like that. And then she went to go change. So I'm saying there are ways to tell someone that the outfit is not doing them any justice. It's not flattering, or it's not, bringing out the beauty that you see in them. There's a way of saying these things without just being cold-hearted. Because remember, this is the person that you care about. So you do want to spare their feelings, but gently rip the Band-Aid off, right? You don't want to just... You want to slowly take it off. I have children, and I have to slowly take off that Band-Aid so it doesn't hurt them. The Band-Aid's coming off, but how I do it is significant, because that is going to be the lasting memory that person's going to remember. Everything that this person says and does is within love. And although I may not always like the truth, I love the fact that they give it to me, and they give it to me in a loving way. All right, so that is a way to, decode when a woman's saying, am I fat? The fourth thing, kind of similar as far as what the woman is looking for, but there's a little bit more to it. The fourth thing that a woman says that I'm going to help you decode is, do you love me? And this is when a woman is asking that randomly and maybe quite often, do you love me? And things like that. And you may think, why would she think I don't love her? I mean, we're married, or we're doing this together. I'm showing I love her. Women like to hear it as well as you do it. So I always say things that you say and do should be consistent. And women like repetition. They like to be able to hear it, but they also want to see it, all right, in your actions. But sometimes when a woman is asking, it's because maybe you don't say it enough. Even if you think that your actions are displaying it, you're not saying it enough, and she just needs to hear the words. Maybe there's some things emotionally. She needs a little bit more emotional security with you. Maybe you guys are distant. Maybe you are long distant, or maybe you just are so busy and it doesn't seem like you guys have this emotional connection at this time, because you guys are both ripping and running and you guys aren't having time for each other. So the woman may ask, do you love me? Right? If she asks in a particular situation, maybe she believes that your action is not expressing that at the time. So basically what she is asking for at that moment is she needs some emotional security. She needs to be able to be secure in that you feel the same way about her. Even if you guys are married, even if you're together, she is at this time, she is low in her affirmation that you love her. Right? Women also need to be affirmed as well. So they want to hear, you look beautiful. I love you. And, I care about you. You want to, not saying I care about you, but never saying I love you. They want to just hear a combination of these things. You're beautiful. I am glad I'm with you. And then, of course, you show it. So women do need the verbal confirmation. And all it is the confirmation. I don't know if it's something going on in her head at that moment in time, or she just feels like you don't say it often. And sometimes men don't like to say these things often, but just like men like affirmations from their women, women like affirmations as well. They need the constant, you're beautiful and I love you and I need you and I want you. They want to hear these things. All right. So if you're ever, my husband does this a lot. He just randomly says, I love you. We could just be eating dinner, eating breakfast, or we're literally just walking about, right? And he would say, I love you. So I constantly hear it from him that I don't have to ask. And of course, he shows it. So if you're a man who's not accustomed to saying it often, just do it just because I love you. If you're not always wanting to just say it, try to do just because flowers, do just because cards. Those are ways to show it, and you're kind of expressing it in form of words as well. But if you love her, it shouldn't be hard to actually use the words that you love her. So again, she's looking for some type of emotional security or confirmation because she's not getting it enough, right? And I encourage you to, if you have children, say that to your children, especially if you have daughters. Say it to your daughters often, because what's going to happen is when they grow up, they don't need to worry. It gives them a little bit self-assurance that there is a man who loves them, especially when they go into this dating world. As they get older, they will always remember their first love, which is their father. So they're going to need their father to show with words and actions what love looks like and what it sounds like. So when they go out in this world and they see a man who's doing something different, they know what it really is, what true love really is. All right, so thank you so much for tuning in to Mrs. Danielle DeVita. If you like this content, go ahead and watch other videos. Go ahead and like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Take care.